Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Michael Lingenfelter, and I'm here with the Aging Athlete Guide, a show on how to get the most out of your body so you can get the most out of what you love to do, bringing you the experts to share their knowledge, insights, and stories to make sure you keep moving without the worries of age slowing you down. And today we're joined by Mason Bendewald. He is the director and producer of the groundbreaking P90X Extreme Home Fitness Series. He's also the founder and CEO of Mega Mace Incorporated and has directed, produced, and created fitness products that have sold hundreds of millions of dollars. And his reputation in the industry over the past 2 decades is that of a leader and creative director who is constantly challenging the boundaries of fitness and transforming trainers into elite camera talent. Some of his credits include, more recently, his Loft series, which includes a whole bunch of workouts and content, including yoga, Pilates, HIIT, cycling, strength conditioning, and more. He's done some stuff with NordicTrack, Daily Burn, and Beachbody, which is all that P90X stuff. And when he's not working, he's spending time with his awesome wife, who is a writer and who has published several novels, and his 2 teen daughters. So today we're going to be getting an inside look into the fitness world from someone who's spent a lot of time directing and producing talented fitness icons from all sorts of backgrounds, learning some fun new ways to get up and move, as well as what trends have stood the test of time. So welcome to the show, Mason.
It's awesome to be here with you, Michael. And listen, full disclosure, you got to tell everybody that you have been in some of my videos. That's how we know each other.
I was about to say that's where it started. I was making the transition of dancer into the fitness world, and we got to work together through 2 Daily Burn videos. And I danced for you one time, and then I did an exercise video the next time.
You danced your way into fitness.
I danced my way into fitness. So this is where my fitness transition started.
I love it. And I love the premise of this show about learning how to keep moving as you're aging. It's something that I deal with regularly now, and in my early 50s. I think about it consistently. I'm no longer doing P90X types of workouts where you're just going in and crushing it, because what that ends up doing is you end up getting injured, quite frankly, even if you're younger, if you're doing it too hard, too long. And so this is a great show. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you offer something different and that you like challenging the boundaries. So what is different about the workouts or programs that you offer?
Well, if we just go back and talk about P90X for a second, the idea that there was nothing that was in home that was extreme. It was all pretty, I'll be polite and say fluffy before that. Most of it was just cardio, kind of Jane Fonda pastel, and a lot of, it's great for a lot of people, but certainly you can tell where fitness has gone now, that it is in many different genres, and people are doing it at all different walks of life and time, and so it's getting more specific. But prior to that, going back, it was very kind of one size fits all. And when I was asked to direct P90X, I had the opportunity to really just break all the rules. And that's what I did. There was just a ton of things that were not done at the time that I felt very strongly about, because honestly, I didn't like at-home fitness. I didn't like any of the videos that were out there. And so doing things differently, what I'm constantly looking to do is entertain people. Because if you're entertained when you're doing fitness, you are going to come back. And if you come back, you're going to get results. And in order to entertain people, you have to keep on doing it differently. You can't just, everybody listening to this show right now knows how to do a push-up. Every single person listening to this show knows how to do a sit-up, a squat, a lunge. It's the motivation that comes behind it. And it starts with a great trainer, but as soon as you put them on camera, it becomes entertainment. So it's constantly offering something different so that people stay engaged.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think I struggle sometimes to grasp onto that because my brain really gets attracted to like, how can I get the most out of something and how can I really grind out this thing? So I'm doing the same thing and getting slightly better. And then forgetting that like, oh, movement can just be like super fun and entertaining. And that's what I've realized working with you and seeing your stuff. What you always bring to the table is this fun and entertaining vibe where you've worked with a whole bunch of different people and making sure you bring that out of them, so that it comes across on the video as an entertainment and fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so the P90X was such a massive movement because it was different. And so now you are in a place where you're introducing different type of workouts that now we've been in this fitness world where it's been go hard for a while, really push yourself like a Navy SEAL, and that's not for everybody, right? So what have you seen, or what have you jumped into in the past few years that you've really enjoyed that's been different?
Mobility has been a huge part of just most of the trainers that I work with these days, including yourself, talking about like pause for the dog.
The dog's always a part of the way, but by the way, the dog's always a part of any of Mason's new workouts on his YouTube. When I went there, it was you film the dog comes in, the dog says hi, and we get on with our workout. So it would make sense if the dog was on the podcast as well. So P90X was such a massive movement at the time, and it sounded like because it was different. And so now that we've had this different for a while, where it seems like, especially with like P90X, what you've seen kind of go into this CrossFit world, and that's kind of taken over as the natural or the norm of the fitness culture, that hard push. What have you seen being the trends that have been coming up in the past 3 or 4 years that are now different from what we've accepted as normal?
So certainly the biggest thing is it's just become very segmented and niche. So what you love to do, who you love to do it with, and how long you want to do it for, those are all so tailored right down to, I mean, just anything you could possibly imagine. One of the biggest things is that workouts have become shorter. The idea of doing it more consistently as opposed to hitting it hard. I'm going to just now only work out hard for a certain amount of time and then I kind of drop it. Or when I work out super intense and then I don't work out for a while. It's more and more people have gotten to the point where they realize that fitness is a lifestyle. It's something that we all need to do. It can be as simple as starting with walking and swimming, and as complex as doing a program that's 6 days a week for several months. But the idea now that you can go in and say, hey, I've watched Michael's podcast and I'm really interested in this idea of mobility and articular rotation and different types of movement that I never really thought about. I only thought about moving weights prior to that. That's what's exciting about the movement today. And I have a YouTube channel now where you've appeared on it, and I don't have to wait for a client to say we want to build a product. I get to bring in any trainer that excites me and showcase them on my show with what they do best. And I've learned a lot just in the last year from people like yourself and yogis and people who specialize in HIIT training. It's been a real treat.
Is there anybody besides me who's brought such a different aspect? I know I brought in the horse world, and that was probably a curveball. But has there been any forms that you've really been entertained with or thrown off by because it's so out there, that's been introduced to you through this?
There's nothing that throws me really today. The only thing is, once in a while, really open my eyes to. I knew that kind of movement existed. I didn't expect it in in quite the way it's proposed in the fitness world. One of the things that I would say, but I've known about this for a while. Brett Hobel is a dear friend, and he's been a trainer for a long time, and he does capoeira, and he's moved capoeira. And for those who don't know, that is a martial arts dance. That's the easiest way of describing it. But he's taken that over the years and he's incorporating it. I might have done it first with him with Rev Abs, which was a Beachbody product, and taking some of that very specific movement that most people were very foreign to, and he's added it and continued to develop and add that into his fitness brand, which is really cool. So capoeira is one of those. There's a lot of joint articulation movement in our bodies that I was just doing a workout this morning from Jared Rodriguez, and he calls it CARS, which is controlled articular rotations. And he does something which is basically like tensing up your muscles and then moving another joint in your body, and that combination gives a really great result. So those things I love learning from. I mean, the end result is you want to feel great, you want to get in shape. So if you can learn and have fun along the way and get a result, so much the better.
So fun. I've heard consistent and shorter. So that's been a big thing. And I really think from listening, the overall pattern that we've moved to is mindfulness and being mindful of the approach we take with fitness, that it is not a go hard for 90 days. And that's the challenge. And after that, we're all out because we just went all in and left it all on the table. And then mindful about what we're actually doing as well. Is we're not just always moving our bodies thoughtlessly with heavy weights, but actually internalizing what that means for our body, you know, taking time to just actually as well be one with our body as opposed to being on your phone or whatever it is. But I think it's becoming a lot more mindful of this is a lifestyle. It's not, just for 30 days. And this is going to get us a result that we're looking for, which could potentially just be as we're aging, that result, that outcome we're looking for is changing. Because when we were younger, I'm sure we wanted to have all these cosmetic benefits of looking good. Not that we don't want to still look good, but now it's about taking care of ourselves so we can do what we love to do for a lot longer. So with you yourself, how has your fitness changed when it comes to your own training over the past 5-10 years as opposed to before when you were younger?
Yeah. It's a great question. And it is something, again, that I wrestle with every day, which is tweaking my personal routine. I'm actually doing, which I never considered a workout, but I do a ton of walking now. Like I go back and forth to New York City. When I'm in New York City, I probably on average walk 10,000 steps, which is, several miles. And when I'm in Los Angeles, we're in our cars and there's not a ton of walking that goes on. But I've changed that. I walk my kids to school and then I continue on with a 25, 30-minute walk just so I know I know enough about fitness now, and I read enough about it, and I pay attention, and I learn from other people, that as you do get older, just keeping your system moving, keeping the blood flowing, keeping your heart rate elevated to a certain amount. You don't need to go into some crazy, like I used to push my heart rate into 180 beats per minute. I do that now, and I think there's diminishing returns to a lot of points. Certainly so walking is just great. Swimming is great. Those are things that we don't need to think about too hard. You just need to add them to your schedule and you can check them off the box. But then often, and there's always been one of the things I do, is I do my own workouts because I learn by doing them. So I will come back home and I will turn on YouTube on my big screen and I will go in there and I will do one of the workouts of one of the trainers. Because when I'm shooting with the trainer, I'm rarely doing the workout. And it is a different experience. And so I learn from it. And it's fun. I mean, I'm getting something out of it. Sometimes I go, hey, it's only 10 minutes, but you can easily do 2 of them. That's the other great thing about short workouts is if you do a short workout, it often inspires you to do another one right away. And then before you know it, you've done your 20 or 30 minutes of working out. And if you do that, 3 or 4 times a week, you're way ahead of the crowd and doing a great job towards your fitness. So for me, it's doing shorter workouts. It's It's a lot of stretching and mobility too. And when I say stretching, it's usually yoga for me. And I don't do a full hour of yoga. I will literally take myself through a small yoga routine. I'll do one of my 10 minutes. I'll do somebody else's YouTube workout or one of the other millions that I've done over the years. And just make sure that my body, because as you're getting older, keeping your weight in check and just feeling good in your body is the goal, so that you're not waking up feeling like there's days where I will have a great night of sleep and I'll wake up and my body feels weird. Like it's a little bit out of sorts, it's a little bit sore, it's a little bit creaky. And part of that's just age, and you need to get the blood flowing, you need to stretch. You can't just go, oh, it'll go away or it'll be better tomorrow. It will not. You have to work on it.
Yeah, I love it. I love that I'm hearing this consistency with movement in general, right? So now movement is not just a thing you do in the gym. Movement is a thing that you're aware of. I can go outside and walk if I'm in New York, because what I've learned that yes, you can do it right now.
Wait, am I on now? Oh yeah. Sitting in your chair and doing stretches. It's knowing that you've got to get up. My Apple Watch will remind me to breathe, to stand up. So if I am doing a ton of work at my desk, I'll still get up. I'll go downstairs. I haven't, you don't need a gym. I've got a small gym, but I'll go downstairs and I'll just do 10 minutes of stretching, just clear my head, push back from the desk. You hear that all the time. That's super important to do as well.
Absolutely. I was about to say the one thing we're doing right now, sitting, is the big thing that we're fighting. And I don't know if you've heard this.
Let's have this conversation standing up, Michael.
We can do
Why
it.
are we
all
sitting?
right, here we go.
Why can't we make it there you go. Yes.
We're gonna be advocates of this right now.
First time ever.
There we go. Is this a good view for me?
First time. Yeah, your ceiling fan looks amazing.
Thank you. I'll cover it up with my head.
All right.
All right. So we're standing right now. Look at that.
First time ever.
Might be the last. I'll just get a new setup here. I'll get a standing desk.
Standing interview with Michael Linkenfelder. Hold on, I'm moving my mic up.
So while he's moving his mic up, I'm gonna just jump on the back of.
We're making history here.
We are.
This is really a healthy interview.
We are practicing what we preach.
Everybody's going to be doing standing interviews now because you're setting the trend. Here we go. What's this?
We're trendsetters.
We're trendsetters.
We're trendsetters.
This is a healthy interview. We're burning calories.
Thanks for the great idea. I could even start doing my dances while I'm talking. See, there we go. And we just lost everyone. All right. So I agree 100%. I wanted to piggyback on one thing that you mentioned, which was diminishing returns. And I see that as being one of the biggest game changers for how I approach fitness with not only myself, but with every single client that walks into my office or online, is with every single exercise or workout that you do, there is always a benefit to it, but there's also a negative to it, even if it's a little bit of a negative. But in the P90Xs, you had a lot of potential negative because you're doing things that are so stressful. So it is about how much can we get out of this positive thing while bringing down the negative effects of.
Look how much better your interview just got. Your energy is spiked. You're into it. You're like, I feel like you're. I
got motivated. Now. Yeah,
awesome, dude.
This is great. So yeah, that's. I just want to jump on the back of that because I think you're right. And as we get older, we just need to decrease the risks that come with that, and that involves being conscious and aware of
every once in a while. I mean, probably I'm hoping I'm smart enough now, but I mean, over the past, let's just say 5 years, every once in a while I'd be like, you know what? And I know most people, especially like in their mid 40s on, our bodies have changed a lot, but almost everybody, because we haven't been taught this, goes, I'm just wussing out. I just need to go hit it hard. If I just go back into it, I know I can get it back. You cannot go back to your 20-year-old body. You're a different body when you are in your 30s than when you're in your 20s, and when you're in your 40s, when you're in 50s and beyond. And you still need fitness, but you have to do it so that you're not, and this is the diminishing return part that really hurts. If you go hard and hurt yourself, it takes much longer to recuperate. And that time that you're not doing anything because you're bummed out, because I mean, this happens to me even now with simple stuff. Like I'll get a pinch in my back and it'll just bum me out. And if I'm not very careful, I will stop working out and I'll do something like, I'll start drinking beer at night instead of stretching and spending more time do that, or having ice cream or whatever it is. You try and fill that void with something that's not as healthy. So doing consistent good stuff for your body that is so much better than thinking that if you do it heavy or hard, that somehow you're going to regain some lost fame from your youth. Just be the best that you can be in your decade. I want to be the best 52-year-old body I can be at this point. That's my goal.
And that's my biggest pet peeve is this thing that you're trying to do to make yourself healthier. If you're hurting yourself while you're doing it, then you have to not work out, like you said, and you're becoming unhealthier. So you're becoming unhealthier by trying to do the thing that you're trying to make yourself become healthier. And it makes no sense to me. So that's why, yes, I even at 32 am training how I'm going to train when I'm in, when my punk. I appreciate it. I'm turning 33 in like 2 weeks. So
yeah, that's it. They're over the hill at 33.
I'm good, but I'm training now like I am going to be training in my 70s, 80s. Like I'm doing it for the long term, right?
You're way ahead of the game, buddy. You really understand your body better than most people.
Appreciate it. So
I'm sorry, I flattered you and threw you off your game.
I was gonna try to. I'm not good with the compliment, like taking a compliment. So that is something that I'm working on.
I was going to mention two of the trainers that I love right now. Both have injuries, pretty bad ones, and boy, they go into a tailspin of depression because they're supposed to be, the benchmark of fitness for their clients, and everybody gets injured. But as we get older, and if you're working out all the time and you're kind of pushing yourself, it's going to happen more. And you have to constantly take inventory of your body to understand that if I push myself you can push yourself up to a point, but there's a lot of bad language out there that's still out there. The old one is no pain, which is a horrible one. As soon as you hear the word pain, you should know there's a problem.
And I kick people in their shins when they say that. I'm like, that was pain. We're gaining a lot now.
There you go. Exactly. All right.
This is just all continuing to pile on the mindfulness that I said earlier, taking inventory of yourself, being mindful of what's going on. It's mindfulness with Mason here. We just changed the whole show. Moving mindfulness with Mason. So in the
standing.
Yeah, we're moving. That was the movement part.
Gotcha. Move. Yeah.
There you go. So you have done a ton in the fitness world. How did you first step into that? What made you decide to step into that? I saw that you were in. What were you doing in high school? You were.
I was a dancer and an actor.
So how did that transition happen?
I realized that I really wanted to have more of an effect over my career, and dancing and acting, as much as I found myself. I loved it, loved performing. I was like, it's gonna be hard to make a living here. I just had a real realistic conversation with myself about that, and then I got into production, and then it was a fluke. I got lucky and met the owner of Beachbody, and pretty soon after that, I was in the test group, the original test group for P90X, and I directed it. And that just put me on this career path where I said, you know what? I had fun doing that. Obviously, I'm pretty good at it. Why not just make this my foothold and say, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be better at it than anybody else. And so that was that's 16 years ago now. Yeah. And that's all I have done for 16 years is focus on making the best fitness products on the planet. It's been a blast.
And when you were in the thick of it, super busy, I'm sure, working with Beachbody and doing the P90X, how was your personal fitness during those times? Were you making the time to take care of yourself, or did that get overshadowed by your work?
Yeah, that's a great question. We all, even trainers, battle this idea that, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to be in shape, and yet it's very hard to carve out that time for yourself. I recognized when I was the chief production officer at Daily Burn, I ran Daily Burn's production for 4 years, where I met you. And I kind of got to this corporate burnout level because it was never over. It was never enough. It kept going. And I have a very high level of professional conduct that I want to achieve, and I'm always trying to beat my last product. So it pushes me, which is great to have that drive, but it can also burn you out. So there was a point in which I recognized I was not taking care of myself at all. And one of the things I discovered there was meditation. And meditation put me back on track to creating the space. Once I created the space and time for meditation, my brain really opened up, and then I had a whole bunch more time back in my life, and it created time for me to take better care of myself. So it started with meditation. I got back into just a better sleeping pattern. I got back into fitness, all of it. But there was a time where I was a mess. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't exercising enough because I was exhausted. It becomes this this spiral going down when you neglect yourself. You have to take care of yourself first. We all hear that. We know it. It's hard to get there sometimes.
Yeah. So with anybody that is in that position, so going back to like the people that typically come in to see me or I deal with are in their 40s to 60s that have a career or job or life. They're trainers of people or horses, and they've got this go, 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 and they don't have time to take care of themselves. So what would you recommend if you could have
I'm
any
going to sit back
actionables?
down, Michael.
Okay.
I'm going to sit back down for this question.
If you were to give action to anybody that was in that position, what would you say the one thing that they should do to get themselves out of that?
I don't want to act like I'm giving this advice out and it hasn't been given out before. So I'll just say that first, but you got to take care of yourself first. When you do, your productivity goes up. And if your goal is to be more productive, get more stuff done, take care of yourself first. It's just a must. And so that can be I'm a huge fan of meditation. I now do it very naturally. I'm a fan of transcendental meditation. It is super simple. You do need to go and get trained on it because it's so simple. That sounds contradictory, but it's true. And if I hadn't gone and taken it's a very simple course, but I needed somebody to explain to me how to slow down and why and it works. And so from there, first you just need to figure out how to slow down and take care of yourself. So if that's meditation, great. If it's literally just putting it on your calendar and scheduling time for yourself, make it the first thing you do. That's the other thing. You'll see advice from winning executives, people who are highly successful and productive, is that they take care of themselves first. So you wake up in the morning, whether it's journal, a walk, spending time with your family, meditating, exercising, do that first. And if you need to get up at 5 o'clock to carve out that 45 minutes for yourself, do it, and get to bed early enough so that you're getting enough sleep so you can get up and be highly functioning the next day. But that's number one. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And if you do that, everything else starts to fall in line.
Yeah, I've seen it time and time again. I feel like it's really difficult too for those of us who like to take care of others because we prioritize that over ourselves, and not realizing that taking care of this is going to help you take care of others. And you said it's so great. This was like 4 or 5 years ago when I came out there was a workshop that you did, and you said that when this is when meditating was new to you, and you said, I have this wall that it's got Post-it notes of all different colors everywhere, and there's things that I have to do on every Post-it note, and they all have different colors, and you just look at it from standing back, and it's exhausting just looking at it. And with meditation, the colors lined up, and there was just single file lines of these different colors, and some of them went away. And I was like, that's a great visualization for meditation. And it's so true, because I've adopted that into my life over the past 4 or 5 years of just taking that 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes 5 if I don't have that, but first thing in the morning, just sitting down, checking in, getting control of that. And it's been a game changer.
Man. Yeah, it is, right? You're incredibly productive. You've done just tons of stuff, and you're finding the tools to do it. And that's it. It's finding the tools that work for you, but you can't just, you've said it, you can't just be taking care of other people unless you take care of yourself. It just doesn't work in the end.
100%. This is going to be a fun one for you.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something that I'm thinking about right now. If you had the opportunity to run a commercial, with a 5-second commercial about the fitness world or health in general, what would be the motivating, not even motivating, what would be the words you would want to get in front of every single person when it comes to health and fitness? What would you want them to see or hear?
I'm selling a product, or I'm selling an idea?
You're not selling an idea. You're giving an idea. If you could pass on words of wisdom, and everybody sees this, and you get the opportunity to put your stamp on the culture of fitness and health.
Gotcha. It's true of life as well. It's embrace change. So embrace the change in your body, and embrace the change in what your new routine is going to be to stay in great shape.
That's awesome.
Are you writing that down?
Yep.
See,
you saw.
I DM'd that. I just can't steal it.
Embrace the change.
Embrace the. It's right. It's so hard for us to go, this is my new norm. And the sooner you can do that, the sooner you can find the solution to be the best you can be. That's how I look at it.
And what motivates you to be the best you can be and gives you energy to put your best foot forward every day?
Is an understanding that change is inevitable, and that there was, when I was a young man of probably around your age, a little younger, there were times where we've all spent time here where you're feeling down, you're working really hard, it's not clicking, you think the world isn't fair, and it isn't, but it's not fair to everybody in the same way. It is work. And I read something, and it was a Buddhist philosophy, which basically loosely translates to, every single day you are guaranteed challenges. And if you embrace that fact, you start to see the world differently. And I did. So instead of waking up and going like, oh my God, why another bill, when I didn't have any money, I would see that bill and I'd go like, yeah, I knew the bill was coming, and I'm embracing this opportunity because I need to go out there and figure out how to pay it. Not why am I getting a bill? It was, and the miracle that really came from it was that I started having much better days. I wasn't making any more money, but I was having many more good days because I didn't see the things that happen every day to all of us as something that was against me. I welcomed it as, yes, this is part of life. And then I felt like, wow, nothing bad happened today, or it'd have to be something really big before it would rattle me anymore. And that was an enormous blessing. And I also shedded some of the friends or the relationships in my life that were dragging me down, that had a very negative kind of outlook in general. And, that tends to feed on itself. You start blaming somebody or something or whatever it is, as opposed to raising each other up. And so I started working harder to find more people who were like-minded in terms of raising me up, as opposed to me bringing them down, and vice versa.
That is awesome. Those are some very powerful words. Having that perspective, changing your perspective, realizing what your environment's like, if you need to take anything, add anything, and then just embracing the changes that come. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mason, for joining us and taking the time to talk with us and share your stories and your knowledge and creating the first ever standing up moving podcast / show. Yeah. So if you loved it, if you liked it, go check his stuff out on YouTube. You can do all sorts of fun workouts with me, doing some dance stuff with others. You can do Pilates stuff, whatever you can think of. It's probably there. YouTube.com/megamace. Mega, just like the word mace, MACE. And if you really love it, he's got some great premium content you could go check out, go in more depth, longer videos, add nutrition. He said he'll come to your house and rub your feet.
You know what? We're going to go a step further, Lincoln Peltzer. We're going to give, we're going to make up a special code for your listeners. So if you do want to go premium, it's megamacefitness.com. And what's the name of your podcast?
The Aging Athlete Guide. So we'll just put Aging Athlete. How about that?
Aging Athlete. So your promo code, discount promo code is Aging Athlete. So if you go there, you can thank Michael for that.
I'll put the link
being on your show, buddy.
Appreciate it. Always great talking to you, Mason. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you soon in the future as well. Signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to continue to become the best rider you can be for as long as possible, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to continue to put out videos and allowing you to get the most out of your body so you can get the most out of your horse.